Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, this is Dr. J and Spike, swinging around from Long Island, New York,
The
where it's a
longest of
glorious
Long
day.
Islands.
And Spike is jumping around at the beach and broadcasting from his automobile.
Yes, you get to see my ear
So
until I
why are you
settle
jumping
a
like
little bit.
a jelly bean?
So I'm still trying to find the most comfortable position to spend the next half an hour in. And I want to
Okay,
make sure that the position I choose is the optimal one because I'm an
okay.
optimization guy.
Linda's on.
Linda's on. Wonderful.
Linda's on. Linda and I and you and Jake were all worried about AEMD, BCRX,
Oh my gosh.
CVM. We got a lot of worries, a lot to worry about.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't call it worry. I would just call it, disappointment. Everybody else is getting rich. Somebody was complaining that even Kodak people are getting rich and we're not.
Yeah, they just lucked out, didn't they? I
Well,
mean, I barely knew Eastman Kodak still existed.
it's certainly not a company we'd been talking about in any kind of regular
No.
basis.
Now, let me ask you this: should I put all my money in Polaroid, or are they out of business?
You're right. Well, let's see. Polaroid does make a lot of chemicals, but so does Dow and so does 3M. So why didn't 3M make them? Why did 3M make
Well,
a
3M
splash?
disappointed, but we just hold that one. I'm not really worried.
Uh huh.
I'm not concerned about 3M. In the long run, we'll be fine. I mean, if you have to be a bag holder, we holding a good bag with 3M.
Well, I'm holding tough.
One that pays 3% a year, 3.5% a year, and will probably be up by the end of the year. By the end of the third quarter, it'll be up sharply. So I'm not worried. I'm more worried about.
Plus, they're
I'm
paying a
more worried
dividend.
about Athos. I'm worried about our other blue chip stocks: CVM, Athos, BCRX.
Our blue chip, right?
Yeah, those blue chips.
That's funny. The other blue chip. Indeed. Actually, Pete was pretty funny. He said that he invested in PHO and then he ate some pho, which is very cool.
You see what Truman posted? That says it all. People have a big question mark. What's going on with the chart? The chart is collapsing. It's been collapsing for weeks. I've said it's collapsing.
Right.
And what do? I buy more at the end of the close, at the close of every day. In defiance of the chart. Because, if you believe in something, you believe in what you believe is better than the chart. But on the other hand, if the chart is, you believe everything you believe is nonsense, and the chart tells the whole story. So I'm a little bit of both, and it's hard to reconcile sometimes.
You're a little bit country and you're a little bit rock and roll.
Yes. Linda says one of these days will be our turn. If we still have any change left.
Yeah, it'll be our turn. I'm hoping soon.
What does Pete got to say? Oh, Nikon, by Nikon, by Polaroid, by whatever. Yeah, well, Nikon's a real company, though. They do have a biological division, pharmaceutical. You're doing really well from the beach so far, Spike. Yeah, Spike is into his water. PHO. What's with Spike? And here we have Tim Graham from Tennessee. I had a friend who lived in Tennessee. What is it? That five city area, whatever, Johnson City, whatever it's called. I don't know. Yeah, I had a friend that lived there for a lot of years. So Nikon has the best glass. Yeah. you're getting a lot of different, story stocks here. So everybody has something to say. Tim, didn't you have, you the one who gave us QLGN that had a nice pop today? I think it was Tim. Oh, Pete actually bought some clean water. I don't know what Spike is. I think he's in the ocean or something. The cabinet guy, the bro, the Tennessee man's bro, he likes AMPE. AMPE. CG gave us, what did CG do? Cabinet guy gave us AMPE, right? Or one of them. And then one of them gave us AMPE, and cabinet guy gave us QLGN. They both made moves on different days. Yeah. All right. So are you verbal, Spike, or you either have a camera or you have audio? You don't have both, video or audio. So we can either look at you or listen to you. I don't know the answer to these questions. And I don't know why you don't have audio. Yeah, Vermont, I think, had one case in the last week or something, the whole state. Yeah, COVID-free. All right, so I have a lot of stocks I want to talk about. I mean, maybe I don't want to talk about, but I think it's worth charting. I did a lot of trading today and I accomplished absolutely nothing. I think the big story tomorrow is tech earnings, right? Yeah, the cabinet guy is confirming not much COVID in Vermont. That's because Bernie Sanders issued a proclamation. There shall be no COVID-19 in Vermont. Otherwise, we're going to have revolution, not evolution, but revolution. Confucius wearing a mask. All right. I still say those masks are good if you want to rob a convenience store, but let's go into the charts. Let's hope that Spike can figure his way. What I'm thinking is that it almost doesn't pay to gamble with biotechs that go up and down and yo-yo around, but to go into safe stuff like FedEx, Amazon, not that Amazon's safe, KMB, a lot of the blue chips. I think that it might be 3M, might be the play right now. In other words, hide for a little while. Even though COVID is hot, you got to be in the right COVID stock where you get you can get hurt. So, cabinet guy said Bernie's hot air killed the COVID. Yeah. All right. Co-diagnostics. All right. So, co-diagnostics has been following a beautiful trend line and is still following it. I keep adding to this one, although there's been so much talk in the news lately of just spit tests, saliva tests. And there you go. Then, in 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes or 45 minutes, the result. And it's being advertised for the price of a cup of coffee. So I don't know. I still like Codex for now, CODX. Still following that upward trend line, which I expect it'll break north of. And I suspect that we're going to be seeing $30 on this one before this COVID is all over. The high was, I think, 30, wasn't it? 29.72. I think we take it out. We're still on the path to doing that. I know today wasn't a great day, but it was up. So we'll take it. All right, so I've been buying a lot of this right from the beginning of this ascent, or even earlier. I've been in it for quite some time, and I keep buying it. So I do have quite a lot of this. It's one of the few stocks that pleasing me lately. So Co-Diagnostics is one of my good ones. Let's look at another one of my good ones. I'd rather talk about my good ones than my bad ones, but we'll talk about the bad ones too. AT&T I've been buying almost every day for a long time. Weeks and weeks. Accumulating a lot of shares. I don't like the close today. That's the problem. I tried to break out of this. I don't know what this line is. That's not a real line. I don't know what it is. I want to get rid of it. Sometimes you can't get rid of garbage. Well, you can always sell the garbage. I've been doing a lot of that. Sell the garbage. All right, so here we go. Now we're good. So this was a pretty yucky finish to the day. It's looking like a gravestone doji, but it did make a new high. So I'll take this candle with a grain of salt. Not in love with it, but the fact that it made a new high on the day is a positive. After hours, we continue with the downtrend lower. So I think I bought at a higher number today. I'll have to buy at a lower number tomorrow. I'm still convinced that they will have blowout earnings. My last earnings call was not the best. That was 3M, and that went down 7 points, or about 5% after earnings. So in my recent earnings game, I'm 0 for 1 for the third quarter. I bought a little more Amazon today. So let's see if I can go 1 for 2 with a good earnings report tomorrow on Amazon, which I am calling for. APT, I don't know. I don't remember when they're due for earnings, or early August, which might mean like Monday or something like that. I'm not sure. But I think they'll buy this right into earnings. So I think this pullback will find support at the 9-day, or right where it is. And we go up again tomorrow. Lake is my other big favorite. So I have CODX, APT, and Lake. 3 stocks that I've been buying every day. I've been buying others also almost every day. I'll tell you about them. they are not as successful. On a very low volume day, once again, Lake put in a positive candle, but also came off the highs. So I'll take this candle. It looks better than the APT candle. And we're definitely in a Zoom channel from way back here, from way back, from the lows of $12.52 back in May 15th. So we're in a tremendous Zoom channel, and I like this one right through earnings. And I think they'll blow out the earnings once again, like we did in the second quarter. And I think this time they'll be recognized for blowing out the earnings, and they will find that $30 level that I've been talking about. So I've been buying them every day. There's another one that I had been buying every day that stopped because of the recent price action not being that pretty. And again, we have another gravestone doji, came off its highs. Looked like it was finally getting some traction with an up day of about 12 cents. Gave back 9 or 10 pennies at near the close to finish up only on the day. Athlon Medical. I believe we're kind of like BCRX, CVM, Athesis. We're in a wait state. We're waiting on the first patient to be treated for COVID-19 on a respirator, on a ventilator, and with the hemopurifier to reduce the viral load. So we're on a wait state. While we're waiting, we had a nice pop to 248 and 249, and now a little bit of a bleed, but found support right at the low here, right at $1.92. So we're very much at support right now, midpoint of this green candle. So I like the support at $1.92. I think it holds, but if it doesn't hold, we're certainly susceptible to a ride down to the $1.76 level. So I believe it'll hold 192 in anticipation of the first patient being treated and news from the phase 1 trial on the hemopurifier. Let's see if Spike made his way back. Spike did make his way back.
Finding it very.
Were you listening?
A little bit about AEMD. There I am.
Yes, I am also. I mean, it finally made a move today, only to give it all back.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, not that I think all of us got in around $2. So we're not getting killed yet, but yeah, if this thing, all the promise that we have, I guess it's another one of these things where we have to wait, just like everything else.
Just like BCRX.
Like I said, we're picking all the stocks that you have to be patient when Kodak ends up quadrupling or quintupling.
So why didn't you tell me about that one?
Yeah, right. Who out there knew that Kodak was actually going to become a pharmaceutical company? Next thing you know, that A&P is going to stop being a tea company and start becoming a grocery store.
Yeah.
So yes.
Your beard
I'm still keep the faith.
Good.
It's not that expensive, so there's no problem to keeping the faith.
Your beard is being admired.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's my luscious mane, as they say. That's because of this camera. The camera adds 1,000 hairs.
Yeah. Confucia, what stock we talking about here?
Yeah, good question. I think he's probably talking about BCRX like everybody else.
I think BCRX.
Yeah, because this is the one that's getting everybody nuts. You wake up in the morning and say,
Oh,
"Did BCRX
how
hit yet?"
about
You go to sleep at
coming
night.
down?
Did BCRX hit yet?
Athesis, Athesis got me nuts. It's popped to 320, now it's 260.
Uh huh. Well, I mean,
Catherine might have done the smart thing today.
what you do, bail on Athesis?
You never get on
Oh,
AMD.
ah,
You never
well.
you never go wrong taking a profit, right?
So she must have gotten in a lot earlier than we did.
No, I've been in and out of this a number of times.
Gotcha.
Usually keeping a few shares,
Well, this is the thing. Like some of these things, once you buy it, I mean, you buy it and then wait for the hit, one way or the other. Hopefully, the hit will be an upside hit. We're keeping the faith on CVM. We're keeping the faith on BCRX, and we're sort of keeping the faith on Athersys. At least I
Again,
am. I mean, I'm just going to wait for an opportunity to get back in again.
Confucia is making excuses for BCRX.
Well, Jigglypuff says he's crying himself to sleep. That's funny.
He misses. You know what?
It's just the waiting, and you know what Tom Petty says: the waiting is the hardest part.
Right. But Jiggly sold a winner to go into a loser. Tandem.
Well,
Tandem's
yeah.
going to 1,000.
What's Tandem doing nowadays? Is it still above 100?
No, it's still about 97 or something.
Okay. Well, you got to know when to fold them, and that's where I I was talking about this on Monday. It's like my biggest problem is knowing when to fold them. You got to know when to hold them, but you got to also know when to fold them. And it looks like Jiggly did his fold at the right spot for that one.
All right, all the apologists for BCRX. Let's take a look at BCRX.
We might as well. Even though, like I said, the chart is telling us we're all nuts. You might as well talk about why you're not a chart only person.
Yeah. BCRX. The chart is telling me that it's not worth waiting, but
the chart says no, but the heart says yes, yes, yes.
Something like that. This is an ugly chart. Really
I'm keeping the faith, my friend. I'm keeping the faith.
Yeah, well, what else have you got left but to keep? There's no more money in your pocket. Just faith.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, like I'm gonna notice the difference if it's gone. I still have to go to work.
Well, unfortunately, this is not one of my biggest positions, but here we have a high. I think the high of the year, 629, followed by a lower high at 603, followed by a collapse. And this level better hold up at 384. Otherwise, I'm selling everything. That's my bad. That's my line in the sand. I'll just take my walks. At that point, I'm not going to make excuses anymore. I'll say bye, see ya. Put my money elsewhere. So 384 is my line in the sand.
I hear you.
You got to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, at this point, I'm still a buyer.
Although,
there was something in the ether about ultimately before earnings that there was going to be some news, maybe even today at 4, but I guess that didn't happen. I mean, if in the stock Twitter sphere, there was talk about this finally getting mentioned, but I guess that didn't happen, or if it did, it didn't happen in any kind of way to affect the after hours.
Let's look at some of the blue chips that I think are worth looking at.
Real blue chips or your blue chips?
Yeah, well, my blue chips.
Okay.
Well, no, they're real blue chips. Walmart, I think, is pretty blue.
Oh yeah, okay, Walmart. That's true.
I think Kimberly-Clark is pretty blue. I think Amazon
We were
is.
talking about Kimberly-Clark a while ago. Has there been any action since we talked about it last?
I think PHO is pretty blue. Blue water.
Yeah, I'll take
water.
that.
Blue water. I don't know.
Just because
Pure water. Pure water. So we have like a nice top here.
Chigley's got to stop punching himself. He's going to make money
say double top. So we put in a double top for those who want a negative jaundice point of view. But we also have some very nice support down here. If it gets this low at 127. It's a blue chip. It's a place to hide. Pays a dividend. And if carbon continues for a while, I think its sales will be pretty outstanding. So it's a place to hide, a safe place to hide, I think, relative to the rest of the market.
You don't think it's going to try to fill in that little gap over there?
On the downside, there's gaps all over the place on this stock.
But there's a real gap right where your line is, where you have your favorite lines.
Where's there a big gap? Yeah?
Right there, yeah.
No, that's
not really
not
a gap. Oh, that doesn't count as a gap. Okay.
It's not a gap. All right, so let's
if I'm looking for a place to get in, maybe I'll get in over there.
Let's look at Amazon because they have earnings.
I'm still looking for Amazon to get to 1,600 again.
Amazon has earnings tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. The earnings is tomorrow.
Google also, right? And so does Apple, right? I think they all report.
Didn't I hear that they were delaying some of them?
I don't know.
Until after they testify to Congress or something?
I bought back some Amazon at 30.27 because I didn't want to feel too bad when it blows it out. So I have a substantial amount. Bear market, short-term bear market. Amazon is in a short-term bear right now. So let's see.
Well,
is it just an ABC correction? Maybe. Well, maybe we have more on the downside. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, if I was to speculate, I'm going to speculate that their earnings are going to be blowout compared to the expectations.
Yeah,
and
could
if that's
be.
the case, then you might get pleasantly surprised.
Hope so. We'll find out tomorrow, but
yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if it sells off even on good earnings. So nothing surprises me. I've seen it all.
That's right, and then some.
I've seen it all because
some of it you've even seen twice.
This old guy was around when Robert E. Lee surrendered at Appomattox to General Grant.
You're like the 2,000-year-old man.
That's right. So I've seen it all.
We have some requests. One request is for Kimberly-Clark, and the other request is for Capra.
I was going to do KMB anyway.
Okay. And the other one was for Capricorn.
Yeah. Kimberly-Clark is on a tear. I added after
we have the best audience because there was somebody in our audience who gave us that, I mean, I'm not the best listener, but I certainly believe we have the best audience.
Yes, and I believe I bought it right after I looked at the chart when he alerted me to it.
Yeah, you were pretty bullish on it, and it was around the
I
doldrums.
think it was right about in here. Don't you think it was right in this area here?
Yeah,
Low
that's
140.
where we were when we were told about it.
Yeah, I bought it right in there, and I keep adding to it. I like it as long as it
Nice.
makes new highs. I'll keep adding a little bit, average up. I like to average in up or
Good
down.
on you, Dr. J.
I
Good
mean,
on you.
if you're a big shitter, this is a pretty good stock.
Well, and people still need, soap and whatever else Kimberly Clark and tissues and paper towels and stuff like
What they
that.
make
So,
Charmin? Did they make Charmin or did they make Scott? I forget.
you stumped me there.
They make one or the other.
Yeah, they did make some tissue, some tissues. I think they're
Yeah,
Kleenex, actually.
they might be. They might have several brands. They're very big.
Yes. Let's see if our knowledgeable and
I don't know
let's see if
exactly
our
what
knowledgeable.
brands. I think they make Scott tissues, maybe Kleenex as
So
well.
Pete is saying it was him. Pete is saying that it was him who gave us KMB. Well, then thank you, Pete. Well, I mean, Dr. J thanks you. I just say, good on you.
We're in a Zoom channel.
Chibley is really worried about BCRX, about when he should just when he should bail. What did you say? You said you were going to bail if it was worth bailing. That you were going to do it 3 and change.
No, BCRX, I drew the line in the sand pretty low. I'm willing to go to 385.
See, I'm going to go down with the
385
ship.
is my number.
I'm just gonna take the ride up or take the ride down. But then again, I don't have as much.
Look, I'm still very,
I'm
very,
adapted.
I'm very bullish on Kimberly Clark. I think we could see 180 by the end of the year.
And Pete was in it. Pete said he was in it at 137. Good on you.
Yeah, I don't remember when we discussed it, what price it was. I just
It was a
remember.
couple of weeks ago. It was a reasonable discussion. It was at around the same time that we thought 3M was the really good buy, and that 3M was going to be.
Well, you know what it is. I bought that day, and you know how I do it. I keep adding. So I bought recently at 149. I'm not afraid to average up.
Not when it's a good company.
I'm not afraid to average up.
All right.
Here's a disaster from earnings. I'm clicking on 3M. I think I clicked on it. 3M.
I'm still holding on to that one.
Yeah,
now,
so am I have a lot of 3M.
there are certain stocks, once you buy them, you don't sell them.
Yes.
For me, 3M is one of them.
Well,
I thought if things going right, and maybe that's something I could give to my kids, give them some of my 3M. Here, instead of an inheritance, here is 5 shares of GM. Don't spend it all in one place.
I do like 3M. I mean, I'm partial to it. The masks. They said that July is so far single-digit growth, and that didn't help, apparently. I don't know whether people were looking for double-digit growth.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's funny how, it's how some people could find certain things disappointing in 1 second and not disappointing in another.
Yeah.
But that's the human condition. So, they're in like I said, I keep saying it, they're in the right businesses. And so, and they're a solid company. So there's no reason to
It,
do
it
anything.
actually,
This is one of the. This is not my speculation. This is my investment.
a low on May 14th was 131. I bought it at 145. Then I sold it in 160 something. Bought it back at various numbers, but I added a lot of like 159 behind the eight ball by a little bit. Not by much. It's just that I expected to be out of it by now with blowout earnings. Now that just didn't happen.
Like I said, save it. Put that one. Put that one in the account that you don't look at. Like we should have done for BCRX.
I'll look at it after the third quarter.
You're looking at after next quarter, right? Maybe.
Yeah, but this was a very solid candle today. You gotta like that, this candle. Yeah, I mean, no, Friday, not today. Before earnings on Monday, right? Yeah, very solid candle. Today's candle is okay, nothing to get excited. So 3M is a good dividend play. What is it? 3.5% dividend. I think it's got potential to go to also about 180 by the end of the year. So I'm happy with my 3M. I might even add to it, but I have just so much of it. That's what's stopping me from adding.
I got you.
Too much.
I've been trying to worry about CBM.
I don't want my whole portfolio to look like 3M,
Yeah, no, I got you. Although, I mean, the math says, it's diverse. If you want to be safe, diversify. But if you really are in a goal of winning, then you got to find that one winner and put it all on that one winner. But that's very risky. That's a very risky way of doing that. You do that, you put it all on the red.
You and I are from Brooklyn, right? We grew up on the streets of Brooklyn, so that means we know how to expectorate. And Sorrento just teamed up with Columbia University Hospital for a spit test, for a saliva test. And it's a 30-minute test at the price of a cup of coffee. So I bought some today. I spent enough for not only the coffee, but half of the Starbucks store. I invested in Sorrento today. It's one that I never really trusted, but they're into so many things lately. Mount Sinai partnership, and now Columbia. They're impressing me. So this guy G is scoring points with Dr. J. Dr. G is scoring points with Dr. J. I'm liking what I see. So let's see what happens with the spit test, along with their other opportunities. This is a guy that doesn't seem to miss it. Dr. G. So
are we gonna do Capricorn?
All right, I'm quite high on this one, Sorrento. I want to do American Express, not American Express, the other one that delivers, the one that delivers, Federal Express. And then I'll do Capricorn. FedEx is a good one. It's one of my goodies. We're going to 200 by the end of the year with this one. This is a Jigglypuff stock. Jiggly, take your tandem money, redeploy it, get 200. BCRX will only give you 10 times your money. This will give you like 15%. I think you got a better shot with this one. What do you think, Spike? What do you think is a better chance? FedEx going up
Well,
15% by end of the year, or BCRX by an order of magnitude?
yeah, FedEx. I would have thought it was a safe bet and not one to hang any dreams on. I'm surprised it's actually. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised because everything's getting mailed in, but you know, it's sort of like one of those things where it's a donkey that's flying, and eventually I'm expecting it to fall. To be
I
perfectly
think
honest with
this one could have a spurt. I think the earnings will be blowout. I think it has a spurt up. Just kind of like AMD, not like quite like AMD, but I think it'll have a spurt up. So I think we're going to get some. This one's going to be juiced a little bit. So by the end of the year, it should be $200.
All right.
Capricorn.
Yes, Capricorn. A couple of people were asking about it. I bailed, and now I'm regretting it a little bit, but maybe it'll retrace a little, and I can get back in again.
Yeah, what did it do today? I think it closed down, right?
It goes down a little bit, but it did peak up well above 10. It peaked up into the 12 area and then settled in around 9, and now it's about around there, settling in around the 9-ish area.
I say we have lower to go on this one. Not to chase this one, as Jake said the other day.
Well, this is one of your odds plays. So if it's one of your odds plays, then it's likely to be
It's an odds play, but I think you might be able to get in around the $7 mark.
Okay. It's about where I left.
Yeah, I think you can get in right about. Look at the midpoint of this big solid body of the green candle. I love those midpoints. It's also the top, this relative high right here on the 20th. So you got the midpoint of the big body of the green candle here. You got the top of this high here, almost the midpoint of this candle. It looks to me like 705, 706 is a good place to set your entry point. What else?
Well,
That's what I want to talk
let's
about.
look at what the audience is.
APT went to 25 today before it collapsed.
You didn't do a.
I charted it already. What?
You didn't do the chart for ATHX.
I can't hear you.
Did you do the chart for ATHX? For Athesis?
Athesis, yeah, let's look at Athesis. And then CVM and then BCRX. We did these. Did we do BCRX?
Yeah, we did BCRX.
That's a yucky poo BCRX. 385.
Let's do our stalwarts. Athesis, CVM, and maybe MESO if you want to do that.
This one crossed the line today. So I sold off some of it. It crossed my line. I had to sell a certain amount of shares, not an insignificant amount, and not half.
Yeah.
I sold because it went below this level here of 256. I had my alert set, so I sold at about 253. And of course, it closed up to 259 after I was 264. But I'll be happy if it goes up. I would take that money and diversify a little bit. I was way overloaded with this stock, so now it's more normal levels. I took nice profits. My average is $1.60, so I sold at 253. I sold. I didn't sell. I still have most of it. I didn't sell half. I don't even know what percentage. I'd have to figure it out. About 25% I sold.
Now let me ask you a question. If it turns out that MESO beats them in the odds race, is there still anything left to salvage here?
You're breaking up on the audio.
Okay, I'm sorry. I said if they end up losing the odds race to Capricorn or to Miso, is there anything left that to hang your hat on for Athersys?
Well, of course there is. The big news is coming at the end of the year from Japan, and that's ischemic stroke. But there's also odds for, in general, not just COVID odds. And that's coming the end of the year as well. So I don't know what the difference is, COVID odds or odds.
Right. Well,
I think
COVID odds
I think there'll be
regular odds.
multiple winners anyway on this odds race.
Okay. So that means let's say if this stock touches 2.25, would you get back in again?
If it goes to 231, I have a buy order in.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean so you're still bearish on bullish on this long term.
Yeah, I'm bullish, definitely.
Okay. Good. If you are, then I am.
Technically, it was not good today. That much I can tell you. Not a good technical, from a technical perspective, it was bad today. Chart was not good. I mean, for that matter, BCRX's chart is terrible as well. And let's look at one more terrible chart, CVM. Strangely enough, this is not as terrible as the others.
This is the day of terrible charts.
Yeah, well, maybe it is as terrible as the others. It's not so wonderful, is it? I sold some more CVM. I've been selling it every day. Not a lot of it.
Well, have you been doing that? Have you been doing that? Sell it 14 buy it 12. Sell it 14 buy it 12.
What have I been doing?
I said, have you been selling? Sell it 14 buy it 12. Sell it 14 buy it 12. Because
no, I haven't.
That seems to be the game to play on this one, at least till news.
Well, what I'm worried about is this little support level getting broken. If it does, we can probably looking at testing the 1037 level. So I want to see this hold. This low is 1182. I don't want to see it go below that.
No more Yo 11 on this one. I thought we said Yo 14 on this one.
I've been selling due to the chart, not due to anything else. I mean, all along I'm saying I think the daily movements are meaningless. It all comes down to the date. And while that may be true, I probably have too much money going on this. I'd rather make a few bucks less than get burnt.
I'm looking at the comments. And in the comments, they said that we used to be a lot more bullish on CBM, and we've been a lot more reserved about it nowadays.
I used to be a lot more bullish, but I've been hearing a lot of negative commentary from people, and maybe it's getting to me.
Well, our friend Fosco's still into it.
Plus, the chart is getting to me. This little the tick below 1212 today didn't make me happy. I sold some at 1230, I believe, or 1240. I don't know where.
Wow.
Something like that. On a rebound, when it rebounded in the middle of the day, or towards the end of the day. Probably sold it right about here.
Well, why don't we make sure everybody knows that even though you sold some, that you're still very, very heavy into it, and you're still fairly bullish on it.
I'll put it to you this way.
And then you could do your disclaimer, because after you say that, you have to cover your butt.
If this goes 1 decimal point to the right, I will be thrilled. I won't get on a plane to Vegas because of COVID, but I will be thrilled. I have plenty left to make me happy, to make my wife happy, to make my grandkids happy. I can buy
There
them
you go.
buy them a lot of lollipops.
Right, and then you're taking me to Vegas.
Yeah. Well, Vegas, I don't want to do so fast.
Yeah, I know. I got you.
So,
I know you got
look,
to be careful, and it's not that much fun anyway these days, Vegas, with all the cleaning that you have to do. I mean, gambling's supposed to be dirty, but they're making it too clean now.
you want me to do the disclaimer? You mean the one where we say that our opinions are strictly our own and everyone should do their own due diligence and check with an investment advisor and add this is for entertainment purposes only and all that?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the
what could be more entertaining than looking at your beard, for example?
my beard and the roof of my car.
Your beard and
Nothing
the
could be
roof
more
of the car and
more entertaining than that.
the
Except
video and
I love
audio.
these chats.
The video and audio fading in and out, and Dr. J getting more and more less and less confident on CBM, ATHX, BCRX, all of my favorites.
We're hitting a
I'm
junction
saying,
spot.
wait a second. Why don't I just buy more KMB, FDX, 3M, AZN, Walmart, Amazon? So Dr. J is saying maybe you don't pay to gamble.
Maybe. You know, I mean, that's what I said. You have to have a good portion of your portfolio that you just buy and stop looking at it. This way you can have fun with the rest of it.
I don't know if we ever hear anything on earnings. I've been listening to earnings calls a long time. Usually they're worthless.
They listen to our show, and then whatever we talk about, they decide to keep mum on.
Right.
And so, you know, I guess when we're sleeping, it'll all pop.
Earnings is just an excuse where IR doesn't have to answer questions for about 3 weeks. If you call IR now, it's a silent period before earnings. Pixel is not greedy. He'll take 20.
Well, you said a decimal move. I think you made me promise you I wouldn't sell it until it hit 100. so
I really think it is the kind of stock that has the potential of going either to 2 to 200, somewhere in between.
You know,
It'll either be 2 after data, 2 or 200.
Linda was like, I like what Linda said. You'll get to it in a sec.
So all you got to do is buy, like Jake said, buy the strangles, the options, both ways.
Oh yeah, right. All the straddling. Oh please. That's gonna be a whole nother show. Start talking about strangles and birds and praise.
Yeah.
All the strategies.
Well, I don't recommend playing call options on anything these days, or put options. In fact, if you don't have the money for blue chips, then you got to play with the baby blue chips, like Lake and APT, and CODX.
You know, your risk when you're risk averse when you're risk taking when you're very poor, you're risk averse when you're somewhat in the middle, and then you're risk taking again when you're very, very rich. And so the whole idea is that when you got nothing to lose. So yeah, that's when you step out of the blue chips and step into the gambles, because
Well,
what's the worst that could
it's
happen? You could lose all you could lose all your money,
I
but there
think
wasn't that much to begin with.
I think first of all, I think Linda's full of it. He's got about 10 times more money than me. That's the first comment. But aside from that, I think if you really want to play stocks that seem to be safe and yet have a lot of volatility, a lot of built-in potential, I think Lake, APT, CODX are
Those
the
are my two
ones.
favorites right now.
If you look
Not
at
even
those
CODX.
charts, they go up every single day until they break that pattern. You can have a good time with them.
Yeah, so far my favorite is APT so far. And maybe when you asked me my favorite on Monday, I said 3M, but
APT has been a really, really good one.
yeah, I agree with Jiggly. Just on principle.
Yeah. Well, okay. Did we look at Sorrento?
We did.
SRNE? Did I put it in?
Yeah, we did.
We did. What else do we have to look at?
We pretty much covered all the bases, and I think it's about time for some goodbyes.
Okay. In other words, sometimes I could talk too much, huh?
Not that that's a bad thing. That's actually quite a good thing. We get a lot of insight from that. Yeah, I know this question of whether or not, I don't like after the bad news on barter, ATHX went really far down, and then it started creeping back up again, almost like this is what we're going to do without barter. So I don't think this current price is hanging on that hope. So if they end up getting some good news, it seems to me that would just give it a nice boost.
I like this one. I wanted to chart this one, but I won't bother. I own a lot of this one now.
Oh yeah. We did buy a fair amount of that. I'm pretty happy with that one too so far.
Yeah, I like this one. Yeah. And of course, PHO, chart that. All right.
We can do that. You want to do that now? You want to do that on Friday?
I'll do it now because it's peaked.
All right.
Pete, I do it.
Right.
It's not just some guy off the street that I don't know.
Fair enough.
You're talking about Pete. We made a new high here, right? Oh, we like that. Took out this old high. Already, I'm liking it. I like your Proto Labs. We should chart that one.
It's sort of teetering back and forth, but this was my play for about 2 years now. These water stocks. But
I love this.
The only downside is that they are sensitive to the overall market. So if the overall market is going to tank, these ETFs are going to tank with them. So you have to be somewhat.
But we took out
bullish on the overall market.
Technically, we took out 39.40. The negative is we had a Greystone Doji here, but it doesn't seem to have caused a ripple. Today's high was better than this high, I think. 39.79 and 30. What's today's high? Whatever. This is a nice candle today, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So technically, there's no reason why you should not like this.
No, like I said, if you think overall that the stock market is going to do well, this will be a very good reflection of it.
Yeah, I think this is one that should be in your conservative portfolio.
Yeah, and I'm big on its cousin FIW also.
Right, but they're basically the same thing.
Pretty much.
AstraZeneca took a
They track
nosedive
pretty well.
off the highs, but it's coming back. I
All
think
right.
AstraZeneca is really good technically. I like it. You got 2 plays on gold for the vaccine. You also have the monoclonal antibodies. That's all until the next time. Pixel, Fixel, Catherine, Jiggly, Robert, Tim, Cabinet Guy, adios amigos. Anyone else I might have missed?
Hasta huevos.
See you all on Friday.
Yep.
Friday.
Bye-bye.
Hopefully we